Hi, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks for dropping by. The dark side of bar girls. And it's not just the dark side of a bar girl, it's the dark side of that entire industry. I think that you're going to be shocked. I hope you'll watch the entire thing because it's interspaced with a lot of truths that aren't very pretty, but they are true. So let's get started.
I never got it, why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Bar girls are not a career that people train for. There is no class in high school or junior college or college that I'm aware of that is Bar Girl 101, how to suck a dick. Okay? That's just not what happens. And I'm not saying that they all do. But what I am saying is that there's an old saying that's been repeated for years, and recently one of our subscribers actually repeated it recently, is that bar girls are often good girls in bad situations. But these bad situations can really be bad. So let me give you some ideas here. First off, these girls are in a lifestyle because it's a necessity for them. They don't have a good enough education to even get into college. That being said, we actually know two bar girls in college, one getting ready to graduate soon as an RN, another already graduated as a teacher. So some do, but it's a means to an end. I mean, that's how they financed it. But on the surface, most of these girls are either incapable, unable, financially restricted, or too lazy to go get a degree and to become a higher level functioning member of society. This puts them at a very great risk. Bar girls are in a very dangerous environment when you think about it. Let's talk about drugs. Certainly they exist. We have never seen, and we owned a topless bar in the U.S. It was a business investment, not a business that we lived at and ran. All right. It was an investment. We had managers and supervisors and stuff like that. All right. But drugs were a big problem. Big enough problem that we actually used to have random locker searches routinely just to make sure they didn't bring any into the bar. Now, rules, regulations, and everything are different in every state. In Arizona, that's the way it was. I don't know how they deal with that here. But I can tell you that of all the bar girls that we know, I'm pretty sure 98% were relatively or completely drug-free. But there's a lot of drugs out there. You get guys that are here on vacation and they're spending lots of money. But the biggest reason you don't see girls as much in the drug scene as you do in the U.S. was simply because they can't afford it. They're working hard to send money home, and if they're smart, build a future for themselves, because you can only be a bar girl for so long. Or you can only be a highly profitable bar girl for so long. Now, the second thing that we run into with bar girls, You know what? Put yourself in their position. This is why I always say, you know something? I have a lot of respect for bar girls. And I'll tell you why. That's got to be the scariest fucking job in the Philippines. Well, maybe digging a mine and, I'm sure there's scarier jobs, but it's scary. Imagine that you weigh 110 pounds and some stranger, some big fat guy like me, or worse, some guy who's wearing the same shirt up and down Walking Street day in and day out, walks into the bar, buys you a drink, and then wants to bar fine you. Well, you are under pressure to consider that. Now, more messages. Hold on. Or imagine that you're a fit 45-year-old guy here on vacation and he approaches you and bar fines you. You're now going to go out and you may end up going back to his place and you know nothing about this guy. You know squat nothing. And you don't have a bouncer there. You don't have somebody you can give a signal to and say, hey, I don't like this guy. You don't have anything to protect you. And so it doesn't matter how old they are. Doesn't matter. All right? There was a Filipina, well, we're not even going to go into it. I stay away from those topics. The point is that it's dangerous. Do you realize either the lack of care or the desperation you need to be in to put yourself in that position? Something I don't think I could do. I don't think that I could do it. I mean, we won't even get to the preference thing. I don't kid myself by saying that if I were single, I would be a very attractive male to a 20-year-old woman. I can only imagine how grossed out she would be spending private time with me. Or at least that's my opinion. All right. If I were a 20-year-old guy, I don't think I'd want to go out with a 65-year-old woman. So my point is that it's this dark side. You've got the drugs. You've got the safety issues. Okay. And what about alcohol? We know guys who specifically order for the girls. So, for instance, when we go bar hopping and we run into friends of ours, okay, we tell the waitress, just get them a drink. And it's whatever they order. They may know already that they've had a few drinks tonight and they want to calm that down, but they're going to still get credit for what they order. So they'll order juice. But we know guys that walk into bars and they're going to order Red Horse. They're not going to order some 3.2 beer, okay, like San Miguel Light. They're going to order something like a 5.6 alcohol level Red Horse, okay? Or they're going to order shots, okay? They don't want them to have watered down half shot drinks. They want to see that shot glass full, and they want all the shots delivered, and the guy will pick his shot, and that way there's no fake as to which shots have water and which shots have alcohol. You know, I have, unfortunately, I have an alcoholic relative. Okay. And it was probably the hardest thing I ever did. Actually, it's my mother. I'll just be honest. My mother is an alcoholic. Now, she is sober for years now, but she literally almost drank herself to death, ended up getting life flighted from one hospital to another, and was in ICU for a number of weeks. And then I spent a number of months getting her back on track. Once we got her out of the hospital, she was in the hospital and rehab for several months. Okay. Alcoholism is something that is horrible, and it's much easier to get abused by that. When we owned diagnostic imaging centers, okay, we were a huge customer of a very large MRI product producer. And we were wined and dined by them constantly. And it was their head of American sales. That's how big a customer we were. And she drank like a fish. And several years after I retired, I found out that she was in an institution. She drank herself into alcohol poisoning and literally fried her brain. So you've got the drugs you have to worry about. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't think you need to worry about it, when you get in trouble with a bar girl and she has drugs on her and you're with her, you're in trouble. When you get an alcohol drunk Filipina pissed off, that's a big, big problem. But those are your problems, and who gives a shit about those? Think about these girls who are trying to support their families. And then it's the danger, the absolute danger. We see, or we feel, we've never seen it. I'm going to be honest, we've never seen it. But we feel that a vast majority of the drugs introduced to these girls is by Westerners, Australians, British, American, New Zealand, European. It's just not something that they go after here because it's just not affordable. Don't get me wrong, there's a huge drug problem here, but it's not affordable for a lot of people unless they're in the business of buying some and selling some. And that could seriously be one of those issues. We don't see it here like we did in the U.S. But the danger of not being able to feel comfortable saying no. It's not a glamorous life by any way, shape, or means. And for you to think it is absolutely wrong. Now, there are other very dark sides to being a bar girl. Let us know in your comments. We'd like to hear what you think about it. We'd like to know how you feel about it. Tell us in your comments. In fact, tell us if you've had any experience to these exposures. We firmly believe that there are bad people in every profession, and there are good people in every profession. We'd like to know what your opinion on that is. Otherwise, we'd love for you to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so that the next video you'll get notified when it comes out. Thanks. Have a great day.